Good morning, everybody. Let's hit some drums. My name is Jared O'Leary, and I've been drumming since 1998, but I still got a lot of stuff to work on. When I'm practicing, I actually share it publicly. You can check out all my prior practice streams in this playlist on YouTube. It's got over 370 practice videos showing what I was practicing with timestamps in the description, so you can see how I actually practice to improve as somebody who's been drumming since 1998. Now, I often will answer some questions from people in the various chats, because I've got multiple different chats up at the moment. And why do people ask me questions? Not just because I've been drumming for a long time, but because I also have a bachelor's, master's, PhD in music education. So I've got a wide range of performing and teaching experience, every grade kindergarten through doctoral student. So I will often edit those responses down and put them into this playlist. It's got over 13 hours of free drumming tips that I've paid a lot of money for, and you get for free. If you don't like the title, the topic in the title, then there's often several different topics that are in here. So just check the timestamps in the description. Just scroll down a little bit. It's got chapters in every single one of these. But there's literally over 13 hours of tips in there, as well as over 2,000 free exercises. We've got a bunch of chop exercises on my home tab of YouTube, gaming stuff because I'm a nerd. We've also got over 1,000 grid variations, a bunch of limb independent stuff, which we'll be working on here in a little bit, a bunch of marching bass drum exercises, over 460 of them, some cadences, some computer science stuff because, again, I'm a nerd, over 360 technique exercises, a bunch of tips and lessons. This is where you can find the tips. This is where you can find some scripted lessons. This is where you can find the live streams. All of these for free. If you see a video that says members first, it's scheduled to release for free. There's like almost 500 of them, so it might take over a year, but you can sign up as cheap as less than $1 on YouTube. It's the lowest I could make the membership tier. So if you want that early access to all like 460-ish videos, then you can get that for that. Otherwise, just wait. It's all coming out for free. No paywalls. I don't sell stuff. I don't have an app. I don't like teach privately anymore, etc. So I just want to give you content for free. Now, I'm not good at limb independence yet. I'm working on it. I have Shia LaBeouf here to help motivate me. We're going to hide him because of copyright, but let's get motivated. Shia, help me out. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, yeah, Shia LaBeouf. I'm so ready to work on limb independence now. Ooh, look at that flex. All right. Now, I have a spreadsheet here. This spreadsheet keeps track of all the different patterns, and it tells me on column A, on average, across all the times I've played it recently, how does it sound? All the ones that say technically proficient and musical means, okay, it sounds decent enough that I'd be comfortable performing this. So I'm going to skip all of those, and I'm going to focus on the ones that say meh or needs a lot of work. So that way I can focus on the stuff that I need to get better at, because what's the point of practicing if all I'm doing is playing stuff that I already know how to do? So we're going to skip that stuff. Now, the patterns I'm getting from this book, 50 Ways to Syncopation by Don Moyle. I highly recommend this book. And then the way that I'm practicing the limb independent stuff is kind of outlined in Gary Chester's books, New Breed 1 and 2. I also highly recommend those books. Now, you can actually find links to those on my YouTube channel. On any of the videos, like let's say we go to, I don't know, an eighth note timing exercise. Sure, this one sounds great. So inside of, 144? No. We want enhanced bitrate. Yeah. Look how much nicer that is. Anyways, so inside of the timestamps of all these like 2,000 plus play-alongs, we've got the first link that takes you to my website. It's got everything organized neater than I can do on YouTube. And then the second link takes you to the books and gear that I recommend. So the books that I'm working out of, this one, 50 Ways to Syncopation, not an affiliate link, but all these other Amazon ones are. So thank you for people who've used it. It does help me out. But the other two that I mentioned are here, New Breed 1 and 2. And if you scroll down past some of these other things that I recommend, here's the hardware that I'm playing on, and then the sticks I'm using are the Jack DeJohnette's. So if you ever want to find out like what I'm using, just go to that second link on all of these different YouTube play-alongs, and that will take you there. But if you go to /drum, which is the very first link, it takes you to here, and this is where you can find all of the 2,000 plus exercises and all the dozen plus hours of drumming tips organized neater than I can on YouTube. Anyways, we are going to work on limb independence this morning, and the one that I'm going to start with, I actually did decently when I last did it a couple days ago. Yeah, it was technically proficient, which is good. That's better than it has been. So what am I playing? So it's fairly simple, actually. All you're doing is just quarter notes. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The hard part is actually the hi-hat. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It just feels so open. 1, 2, 3, 4. Putting it on 3, as opposed to like 1, 2, 3, 4, ding, 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 etc. Okay, so putting it on 3 feels awkward. So I'm trying to get used to that. And I'm playing the short notes on the snare. So the eighth notes and the long notes on the bass drum. And apparently my shorts feel like riding up. Enjoy my ghostly legs. They're nice and pasty. You can tell I go outside a lot. 175. Cool. So how am I going to practice this? Well, if you're on my home tab of YouTube, we've got a limb independence section that helps you out with specifically working on this. So if you click on the header here, there's some stuff that you can do to work on limb independence to be able to read these charts. But I'm going to jump straight into reading some charts. Now you might be like, Jared, this is too hard for me. That's okay. This video right here, how to develop limb independence, it's at the second video on every one of these limb independence playlists. This shows you step by step what I've done to get to the point that I'm at right now. So if you want to be able to develop this, then check that out. Let's see here. So let's do this one. Sure. Just pick a random one. There's 55 charts in here. Keep you busy for a while. The goal is to sight read these. So I'm going to go to 175 using the timestamps in the description. And then I'm increasing the volume. You can't hear the play along, but it's there. 1, 2, ready, and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, hi-hat on 3. Reading the short notes on the snare drum, the long notes on the bass drum. Here we go. I keep screwing up the hi-hat. There. See, it's the hi-hat that screws me up. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is why we're practicing it. Want to get better at it. 1, 2, 1, 2, here, go. No! Ugh. I keep putting the hi-hat on 4. Don't do that, Jared. Okay. Thanks for the advice. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and... See, I put on 4 again. Oof. It's when I get lost in my head and I focus on that on 3 that it is screwing me up. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. Man, it's rough today. I'll explain why I do this every couple of days as opposed to all in one day in a moment. Last rep. Ugh. Okay, so that was terrible. That one we're gonna rate as needs a lot of work. The the left foot on the hi-hat just really messed with me. So when I'm learning one of these play-alongs, like learning how to do this, I will sit with it for like an hour and just like sit there and okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll go through some of those like permutation exercises. So and then you change it, etc. So you just like shift it, you permutate it, and that's great for practicing it. But your brain kind of gets used to it. But then, kind of like when you're learning a language, you need that like spaced repetition. When you come back to it, maybe a couple days later, it might not sound as good as it did. So when I'm practicing this stuff, I'm playing the drum kit streams every 2 days, and in between that, I'm doing a technique stream. And this makes it so that when I come back to here, I can see whether or not I've regressed with my playing. And in this case, that was terrible. So I definitely regressed with it. But this is why we're practicing stuff that we're not good at yet. What's the point of practicing if you're just going to play all the good stuff? We're skipping all of the ones up there so we can play the bad stuff. That's the goal, at least. But before we play more bad stuff, we're going to stretch and massage. This one will stretch the side of your forearm. It's a weird looking one. If you go on my home tab of YouTube, under the tips and lessons section and the drumming lessons playlist, there's a video called This Hand Routine Saved My Drumming. It shows you like a better angle of like what I'm doing here and how I'm stretching this. But I highly recommend doing that every single stream. There's a reason why in all these practice streams, whether I'm doing like drum kit, limb independent stuff, or snare drum, or tenors, or whatever, always doing the stretch and massage routine because it's that important. You need to do it if you want to be drumming when you're my age, the ripe age of 39. But you know, since I've been drumming for almost 30 years now, I know a lot of people who had to stop because their hands, they didn't take care of them. We're now going to stretch the top side of the forearm, so I highly recommend it. If you actually care about like being able to drum when you're older, take care of your hands now. And your ears, too, by the way. So somebody asked that in yesterday's stream when we were talking about drumline stuff. You got to have earplugs. If you don't, I promise you're going to lose your hearing. That is a certified guarantee by me, Dr. Jared O'Leary. Last stretch is thumb to thumb. And then we'll do this for each one of the fingers. It just makes it so that you can stretch out from the larger parts of your arm all the way down into the fingers. So start large, go small. In this case, forearm to wrist and hand to fingers. And we'll do the same approach with massaging. And then we'll do several more various limb independent patterns. And hopefully they're better than the one that we just did. Who knows? Stay tuned. Ooh-wee. Talk to other drummers about this. About how I share myself practicing. And they're like, what? Yeah. It's weird. Definitely caused a lot of anxiety after a couple of decades of practicing in isolation. Sharing all my mistakes publicly was something to get used to, that's for sure. But I like it. Hi, wife. Came out of nowhere. All right, so I'm massaging up and down the forearm, just trying to relax everything. And now I'm going to massage the hand. So I'm going to do thumb massaging the palm and then fingers massaging the backside of the hand. Just work our way around real quick. And then we got one more massage to do, and then we will work on another limb independence pattern. So this next one, it's an interesting one. So we've got a couple of Samba patterns coming up. But this one changes the ride pattern. So instead of playing 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and which is what most of these like limb independence patterns use. Like the Bayonne uses that. So bass to tip massaging. This one changes it. So it's 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and, while playing it on the ride, and then keeping the the samba pattern going, and you read through the pattern on the snare drum. It's a weird one. It really messes with my brain because the ride pattern wants to shift over to the 1, 2, and 3, 4, and the more common one. But that's not what we're doing. All right, last massage right now. Let's do it. All right, so last time we did this, skipping all the good ones. This one's still not good. Need to work on it more. Don't worry, we will. So this one, last time we played it at 1. No, is this the right one? Oh no. Okay, I actually did it wrong. So this is the one we're doing. Okay. So this one's a little bit different. So we'll do that one here in a rep after we get through this. So the one that I was just describing, instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, you play etc. Okay, but the one I'm actually gonna play right now, this one, this one also is not fun. Okay, so you're hitting on 1 and 3 on the hi-hat, but the first one is close, and the second one is open. Say, so, while reading through on the snare. Okay, that's the plan. Will it sound good? I don't know. So far it's been meh at 160. Let's try it at 150, so we're going to go slower. So I'm going to go back into my home tab. Again, there's over 2,000 exercises in here. Over 2,000. Enjoy. It'll keep you busy for a long time. All the chop stuff here, the grid variations, limb independence, marching bass, scores, technique, all the lessons, blah, 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 blah. But if we click on the limb independence one, I'm going to play it at 150. So I'm going to go into the straight chart since we're playing a samba. It's a straight pattern as opposed to swung. And we go into the playlist, and you can pick any one of these 55 drum charts in here. Sure. Sounds great. So if I go into the timestamps with all of these, some of them go as slow as 20 beats a minute or as fast as 240, but they go one click at a time. Why? Because I'm obsessive. I would like to get better. As opposed to jumping by 10 clicks? No. We go by 1 here. Does that work well with the YouTube algorithm? Absolutely not. 2, here you go. So again, close on 1, open on 3. Oh, this feels slow for a samba. A 1, a 2, here we go. Okay, so it feels more comfortable than it did 2 days ago. So slowing it down is helping, but it's still requiring a lot of my brain. Okay, 2 more charts. A 1, a 2, here we go. Alright, last chart, and then we'll work on another Samba variation. The one that I was talking about earlier, with the weird hi-hat. Or I guess the ride. A 1, 2, ready, and... That requires so much of my brain. It's these deceptively simple ones. You're like, oh, you're just playing the same thing on the foot. Yeah, but the hi-hat not playing a samba like that, it just feels so different. Anyways, mostly technically proficient. It doesn't sound musical yet, but you know, we'll get there. We're making progress. It's still on average meh, column A, but I'm making progress on it. Yay! Woot! Okay, so the next one is actually the one that I was talking about earlier. So this one, on average, it needs a lot of work. So we'll see how this goes. So what is this one? Like I was saying, we're playing the samba. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so a 1 E and 3 E, a 1 E, a 3 E, a 1 E and 3 E, 1 E and 3 E. E, it's not actually E, it's a 1 and, but anyways, I'm just kind of making sounds. So last time we played it at 140 and it was technically proficient. Let's try speeding it up. Let's try 145. Okay? So we're gonna go back into here. We're still in the same chart, so the straight charts, from 100 to 159. And, I don't know, this one? Sure, sounds great. Okay, so we're going to go to the timestamps in the description to pick up BPM, and then we're going to let it count me off, but you can't hear that. So, 145. And 2, and a 1, 2, ready, and... Okay. Okay. A 1, a 2, here we go. That's a weird one. The phrases blur over the bars. I like to write patterns like that. Here we go, chart number 2. A 1, a 2. A wish me luck. Okay, so I had some reading issues there. Hooked on phonics. I need a refund on it. But I was able to recover. And we're still on the correct ride pattern. A 1, 2, here we go. Way better than it was a couple of weeks ago when I first started learning this limb independence pattern. It's so weird having the the eighth note ride pattern permutated like this. See what I mean about it, like, blurring over the bar? It's fun. Alright, last one for this pattern. A 1, 2, here we go. So it's weird, right? So like normally with the samba pattern, you'd play like, as opposed to the ride pattern going like what we just did. So it's a fun variation, but it really messes with your brain. And again, the play along that I'm using for this, there's 55 different play alongs for the charts, but there's over 2,000 exercises for your chops, your grid variations, your limb independent stuff, which we were just playing through, march and bass, scores, technique, lessons, etc. Okay? Keep you busy for a while. All right, so it's mostly technically proficient. Still has not graduated, column A. We'll get there, though. It's getting better. Progress is being made. I had fun with it. And again, keeping track of this will help me to improve. Okay, so the next one that I'm not good at yet is number 34. So we did it at 160, and I was making progress on it the last couple of times. Okay. Let's do it again. So this one is also samba. It's like a samba day, apparently. But there's a lot of other cool stuff you can do, like with straight patterns. Like my favorite one is the bayonne. So you go right, left, both. Right, left, both. And then you play on the snare. So if you want to do that one. That's a good one. Anyways, so this one, it's a samba pattern again. Okay, so this one you just like alternate however you want to do the sticking on the eighth notes, but the long notes are flams. Make sure they're nice and open and not a pop. Don't want flat flams. So we did it at 160. Cool. Let's do it. Limb independence. And here. So we're going to go into the straight charts for 160 to 240. There's also swung versions, so don't do that while playing a samba. It'd be hard to hear a straight play along while you play swung, or vice versa, opposite of what I just said. But if you want to do that, go for it. You do you. Okay, so normally I just go into the timestamps, but because this one starts at 160, I can just go to the very beginning here, and then it'll count me off. So we'll go to the beginning, but you select your BPM, however fast or slow you want to play. Two, ready, and... Alright. Long notes are flams. Everything else just play normally. My drum trigger is not picking up all these flams. Gotta play like extra loud. 2, 1, 2, ready, and... Yeah, it's still not doing it. Okay, it's sort of working now. This is what happens when you buy some of the cheaper stuff. You can't hear it. Wah, wah. A 1, a 2, here we go. So eventually you'll get to a point where you can just play like whatever you want. And it won't mess with your feet. That's the goal. But doing little stuff like this where you're putting like flams on long notes, it'll get you to there. Oh, I read that wrong. Man, hooked on phonics. I definitely need a refund on that. Can't read rhythms day. Alright, last chart for this pattern, and then we'll do another variation. The other one sounds more interesting. Okay, so you would not do like a full chart playing a pattern like this. You might do like a measure, a fill, etc. But this is just a way to practice it, is just keep looping it over and over. So that's what I highly recommend with that. But overall, it's technically proficient. This feels comfortable playing through it. So this one, I should graduate from tomorrow, because once the average gets above meh or needs a lot of work, then I just skip it. And we'll come back to it later. All right, so the next one that I'm not good at yet. Did I march DCI or WGI? I taught WGI at a group that became Dark Sky Percussion. But I marched for a few years in the academy. So I did 2001 to 2005. I was on snare, center snare, section leader, etc. And then in 2005, I got into a car accident and hit my knee on the dashboard while driving home from rehearsal and could barely march the rest of the season. So I had to go on like a really strong dose of like ibuprofen and like some painkillers and whatnot that made it so I could actually like get through the season. And then because my knee hurt so bad, I couldn't march my last 2 years. So I did 5 years, and then I would have had 7 if I hadn't gotten that car accident. So yeah, I did march. But I also marched in high school, and then I marched in college. I was like center snare for Arizona State for 2 years. I had to do that for my degree. So for my undergrad in music ed, they required you to do 2 years of marching band. Even though I had multiple years of drum corps at that time, they still required you to do marching band. And I hated it because nobody was there to get better. Everybody was just there to party, and I did not care for that one bit. Anyways, all right, so this next one. Good question, though, on Instagram. And I march snare, so I don't play traditional anymore, but I did several seasons of that. So it's just not really useful. Except for on a pattern like this. So the one that I'm actually going to play through, for whatever reason, it feels really good. So eighth notes, long notes are crush notes, or just like a long buzz. Okay, so. And unfortunately, you can't hear the buzzes with the drum trigger picking this up, because these are like the silent stroke heads. They're extra quiet and whatnot. But we're going to play through it while doing... Spring training must have been rough in Arizona. I mean, it's funny when I like go out of town and it's like still like super cold. In Arizona, it was just like super nice. But the summers, woo-wee. Once you move in after all days, like, and you start the all days and you move in after Memorial Day weekend, let's just say you get used to the 100 and teens, but you got to move. So if we were doing sectionals and we were like standing still, you just fry in the heat. Like, it was so hot, like in the 100 and teens regularly. And so like we wanted to actually like practice being on the move, whether it was just like tracking or like doing drill or whatever. Like even doing sectionals, it's just like, all right, you got to move. So you get some kind of wind on that sweat because it's hot. All the hots. How fast do we do it? 160? Okay. So we're going to stay in this playlist. Again, there's a bunch more. Literally 2,000 more play-alongs on my home tab of YouTube. But I'm just going to pick another one. Sure. 11 through 15. Sounds great. Okay, so again, snare drum clicks on the short notes, the eighth notes. The long notes we're going to do as crushes, and you can't hear it, unfortunately. Yeah, I lived in Arizona my whole life, so I'm used to the heat. But when people come from out of town, like regularly, people are hospitalized from the heat. Ready? Now, because we've like basically done all samba, I'll do another swung pattern next, and then I'll work on some double bass. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, This bit sounds so much cooler on like an actual acoustic kit. I mean, this is an acoustic kit, but you know what I mean. It's an electronic hybrid. Now on these like top lines of each one of these charts, you can improvise here. You can talk to your chats if you stream. You can pick your nose, little water break, whatever you want to do. Alright, last chart. Again, short notes are clicky clicky. Long notes are crushes, press strokes. A 1, a 2, a ready, and a go. Sweet. That one sounded good. I enjoyed it. All right, 160. It's technically proficient. Still haven't graduated yet. Wah. Okay, so now let's do, now that we reviewed some ones that we're not good at yet, let's play some ones that are swung that I am better at. So we'll do a very basic one. So the very basic one that like everyone and their mom knows is, so you ding, 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 ding. Cool. So there's this. So you read through the patterns on the snare drum, or you could do short notes, so eighth notes on the snare drum, long notes on the bass drum. Etc. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and then I'll show you a more complicated, fun one you can do with some ghost notes. So stay tuned for that. Last time we played this at 170. Let's try it at 175. Ooh, all the speeds. So we're gonna go back to my home tab of YouTube. Past the chop stuff, past the grid stuff, into the limb independent section. Again, over 2,000 play longs in here. Keep it busy for a while. And we're gonna do this at 175, swung. Now, if you want to learn, by the way, how to develop the limb independence for all these different variations that I've been demonstrating, check out this video at the top of every one of the limb independence playlists. Video number 2. Drumming tips number 50, how to develop limb independence on the drum kit. Anyways, we're going to play through charts 6 through 10. Sure. Okay, so 175, so I'm going to go into the timestamps. I'm going to click on the 175 marker, and then it'll count me off. And then we have at it. So again, short notes on the snare, long notes on the bass drum. 1, 2, ready, and while you play swung, ride pattern, and 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. 1, 2, here we go. Groovy, right? Now, I'll play through these same charts again with the next pattern so you can hear how it sounds completely different just by changing what limb independence pattern you're doing. Cool. Chart number 8. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, and. Okay. It's a weird chart, right? I wrote it that way on purpose. Oh, hitting my mouse. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, and. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, and. Groovy, right? I like that last one in particular. Okay, so it's mostly musical, and I had fun with it. Yay. Now I'll show you another variation. Okay, so this variation in Dom's book is... where is it at? Are you sight reading these charts, or have you played through a lot of them before? So I've played through them, but I do not have these memorized at all. Because there's 55 of them, I'm basically sight reading through them. I'll like play through it and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. But like, it's the reason why I wrote so many of them is so I could practice sight reading with it. By no means do I have these memorized, unlike if I'm playing through like Blue Devils 99 Shopping Spree or something. I have that one memorized. Well, hello. How you doing on YouTube? All right, so this next pattern. This is a more complicated one. So this is number 4 out of Dom's book. So bing, ding, 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 ding. Okay, so you're keeping this idea. Except now you're playing the 8th notes on the snare drum while you fill in ghost note triplets on the snare drum. I played a little louder so you could hear it. But you're also playing long notes on the ride and the bass drum. Okay, while you're reading through the charts. And I'm going to play the same set of charts that I just did, just so you can hear the contrast. But what I do recommend doing is actually just going to a different set of charts, again, so you don't memorize this. The goal is to be able to make it so that you can just, like, sight read a chart. That's the goal. So I can't play it at 175 Ugh. Those ghost notes, whoo. Especially if there's a lot of rests, that left hand would just be dying. So we're going to try it at 130 because it was only technically proficient at that speed. So I'm going to go to a different set of playlists. Again, this is on my home tab of YouTube, where we've got thousands of exercises. You go into the limb independent section, scroll to the swung ones, and because I'm going to play it at 130, excuse me, I'm going to go into here, and we'll do charts 6 through 10 again, just so you can hear how it sounds completely different with this different pattern playing. So this makes it so that like when you get a fill, or even if it's just like a big hit for like a measure or something, or for an entire chart, you can actually read through this like in a jazz band and be able to play a variety of different patterns if you use Dom's book, 50 Ways to Syncopation, for Latin jazz stuff. 2, 1, 2, ga dum, bing, ding, ding. Okay. Again, short notes on snare drum, long notes on the bass and the ride. Fill in triplet ghost notes on the snare drum. 2, 1. Oh, I should have said tom. Again, you can practice improvising here. Hey, I hit the mouse again. Stop that. Bad mouse. Again, just whatever you want to do on these top lines. 1, 2, here we go. Ah! Ideally, you want to try and make it musical. Don't just play the ink on the page. But most of the patterns that I'm playing today have been the ink on the page. Thank you for the thumbs up. On the tube of you. Appreciate you. But if you can make it sound more musical, do it. Make it sound like a story. a 2, here we go. Sweet! It was mostly musical. Yay! Yay! 130. Cool. This is what we want. And I had fun with it. Why does it say the average is fun? That is not correct. Spreadsheet. You failed me. There we go. The average is musical. So again, normally what we focus on are the ones that don't sound good. But at the end of these streams, I'm just like showing you some other ways that you can play it for stuff that does sound good. So we skip all of these when we're practicing, and we focus on the ones that on average are meh or needs a lot of work. Focus on the stuff you're not good at yet. And then you can play the fun stuff towards the end of what you're working on. If you want to find this play along and literally over 2,000 play alongs, if you like rudimental stuff, I got you covered. If you like drum kit stuff, I got you covered. But go to the home tab on YouTube. We got chop stuff here. We got gaming stuff because I'm a nerd. We got over 1,000 grid variations. Just click and it shows you all the playlists. Otherwise, YouTube hides them because there's too many. We've got all the limb and independent stuff. I can't speak. Independence. That's how you pronounce it. If you go to any one of the limb independence ones, the second video in here, how to develop limb independence, shows you step by step like how to use these resources to actually be able to play like a pattern like I just did. So it just takes practice. I promise. This isn't an innate ability. I was terrible at drums when I started, but I was able to develop the limb independence based off of a lot of research and whatnot, because like my PhD's in music education. So like have a lot of experience, and I was like, I'm okay at like rudimental stuff, can teach at collegiate level, etc. But I don't know limb independence, so how would I learn it? So I developed a system, learning from people who are smarter than me, and applied it, and then I shared it in that video so you can actually see how to actually work on it to be able to do that. We got a bunch of marching-based stuff, over 400 of those exercises, some drumline cadences, computer science stuff, because again, I'm a nerd. We've got over 360 technique exercises. This is another one where you have to click to show all of the playlist here. Tomorrow we'll be working on some more technique stuff, some rudimental stuff. And then if you want to find all the tips, there's over 13 hours of free drumming tips in here on a variety of topics. Like the one that's coming out on Friday is about concert and drumline dynamics. The one that just came out last Friday was on how to improve your buzz rolls, and there's a ton more different videos in here. Almost 100 videos. All of this is on my home tab of YouTube again. If you enjoy it, just use it, share it with other drummers, help spread the word. Because these videos are so thorough with going like from 20 BPM to like 240 beats a minute, like even if people spend like 30 minutes practicing it, YouTube's like, hey, you only like watch 10% of this video. You didn't like it, right? Okay, we won't share it with anyone else. So one of the ways that this content gets shared with other people is actually just by people sharing it with others. So thank you for people who have done that. I'm going to call it here. Tomorrow we'll work on some more technique stuff, but I'm going to tear this thing down and get ready for some gaming stuff. So we're actually going through the Uncharted series. If you scroll down to here, we just beat the first game a couple days ago, and we just started the second game yesterday. So you can join if you're interested in gaming stuff. If you're not interested in gaming stuff, that's okay. And if you want to actually like go to where it just shows you the drumming stuff and you can skip all the computer science and whatnot, in any one of these videos, at the top of it is a link that takes you to jaredoleary.com/drum, this one. And this is where it's got all the chop exercises organized neater than YouTube, over 1,000 grid variations organized neater, all the limb independent stuff, all the marching bass, all the scores, all the technique, all the lessons. And it shows you none of the computer science, none of the gaming, etc. So if you don't like that stuff, you just go to /drum. Oh, and if a video says members first, it's scheduled to release for free. There's like almost 500 of those. So it might be over a year until it comes out because a new one releases every day. But you can sign up for membership. It's only 99 cents. It's the cheapest I can make it on YouTube. But you don't have to. Like, don't sign up for it if you're waiting for something. You can just wait. There's literally thousands of exercises to keep you busy until then. But I'm going to call it here. Anyways, I rambled too much. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I hope you enjoy these free resources. And goodbye.